Hey Devs. Yeah. Oh, okay. Are we live? Okay, we are live. Hi Divya, hi Sunny. Okay, we are going to go ahead. Um, I'll just what do I start with? So I started with introducing myself on Instagram. I started introducing myself as a writer and how my journey began as a writer. So, and then Mekhala asked me about anybody who wants to go ahead with content writing as a career, what should they be doing? So, I will just reiterate the entire thing here because you might have missed out the IG live. So anything ever, any kind of career path, any switch that you make, just make sure that you are really interested in it, you are passionate about it, and even something like writing is very crucial because writing needs a lot of consistency and a lot of persistence. You need to do a lot of research and get bombarded with a lot of information, and then use that entire mix, create a new piece over here and put it down on the paper. So that requires a lot of work. If you're up for that work, if you feel passionately for it, then you should just go ahead and do take up content writing as a career choice. Who all do we have here with us? Could you please say hi so that we know you're here? So let me, start with um, one thing. Uh, just one sec. Just give me one sec. I need to figure out how this is. Okay, finally we can.
Sorry, the connectivity is really bad here today.
Yeah, I was really hunting for words, trying to host myself over here. Thanks for coming back.
Not an issue, not an issue. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
continue here. I think we left off at what one should do and why one should do this.
Yes. So yeah, what I said is you really need to, start researching a lot. If you are going to take the path of content writing as a profession, just please excuse this mess. Yeah. Um, because you really need to enjoy writing and researching to get into content writing as a profession. So it's a good thing. There's a lot of demand for content writers in today's market, and it is good that if you do have it in you, just go ahead and jump into that profession. But it has a lot of its own pros and cons, just like every career move.
That is definitely true. I think there goes a lot into making the fundamentals of any career path that you choose, and like every career path, it does involve some sweat and some grit to get there.
Yes. But as long as if you're passionate about it, it's not like going to work every day. You just enjoy working, right? So for me, it is almost like if I do not write a minimum of 500 to 1,000 words per day, my mind is like, it feels like it's going to explode. I really need to write. So that is what writing is
Oh,
for me.
yes. love for writing is definitely the first part. I think the first requirement for doing this as something like, you would want to get up and do every day. That's why you would do it.
Right. Totally. Cindy, can you hear me now? Is it fine now?
I think the rest of the room, let's just pass it around. Uh, it seems to be low. Uh,
Yeah. I'm like, I'm at my highest decibel right now. This is how loudly I talk. So yeah. So coming to the topic of love and hate relationship with writing, which is like the idea for today's Facebook and then IG live. Is it okay, Mekhala, if I start, with
I
this?
can, yeah, I can hear you clearly. You can start off. Yeah, see, everybody's giving you a thumbs up. I think you can be heard perfectly now.
Okay. So love and hate relationship with writing. Um, Most people do not really love writing because it seems like an effort. And especially in today's digital world where we are always, tapping on the phone and on the keyboard, clack, 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 it is like, we have found our comfort zone in that. And we might not feel like going back to the pen and paper kind of arrangement anytime soon. Although there are some of us, like myself, that, I really like scribbling into my diaries and planners all the time. So, what happens? Why do we really hate writing so much? Most of us, the majority. So, I did some digging around. I tried to find out why. There was a time I was coaching a group of 6 children from ages 5 to 7, and I was teaching them writing skills. Needless to say, they were not very thrilled about the idea of going to class for 1 hour every day and having to write essays. So they they would hate it. But then I realized, there were like a couple of things that was going not going that was not very helpful for them. One was they were not very connected to the given. Just imagine all the time being asked to, write about your school, write about, okay, school is relevant enough, but they are in the school 8 hours a day. Why do they want to write about the school once again? So the topics that we generally used to get as kids at school were not so happening. Okay, what I started doing with them, just to inculcate the happiness of writing, I asked them to write whatever they want. I said, "You just write, pick up a topic and just write." And I saw them, bubbling with energy, trying to just think of a topic and write. So these tests that I'm talking about, these are not just for kids. It is also for adults who want to get back into writing, who want to inculcate a habit of writing. So that is important, okay? Both for kids and adults. So once you have found the topic that you're very comfortable with, start off. Just start writing. Write, don't think about, grammar, sentence construction. I didn't ask those kids to think about any of those. I just said, whatever your heart wishes, just put it on paper. And when I used to, go through their essays, I did not correct their grammar. I did correct their spellings because that is like the cornerstone of good writing. But I did not correct
Correct.
anything else. And I saw them getting more and more excited about coming to class and start writing stuff, you know. And the next thing was feedback. Okay. Again, this is not something that, we really got a lot earlier. So if we don't get feedback, we don't even know what to write, if we are writing well or not. So much, the burden that we have on us is too much. So the feedback has to be correct, that yes, this is what you're doing right, this is what you're doing wrong, but the wrong with a lot of, that's fine. Nobody gets it correct first time. Nobody is going to tell an adult that. So for a content writer who's beginning, first start writing on topics that you're passionate about. that you're enjoying. And secondly, do not be too hard on yourself on the type of content you're creating. Just enjoy that, the content. And once you're done with, yeah, so I have a guest of honor right here.
We are all in as we said, we are all in this weird place where we are having to set up our professional corners in very domestic situations. So things do
Yes,
happen.
yeah,
Yes. But it's fun meeting him, even if it was for a
yeah,
while.
yeah. Thank you. So yeah, so that those are the two things coming back is that don't be too harsh on yourself. Don't be expecting like you need to create stellar content at the very beginning. Start with what you love reading or writing about, and then slowly progress from there. So that is how you start inculcating love for writing.
I think, as you said, like a lot of us starting off didn't get feedback or let's say constructive criticism. That paves a lot, like I think it paves a pretty wide foundation for what you want to build upon when writing. At the beginning of maybe if our struggles, if a lot of encouragement is given, as you pointed out, sometimes you might not even recognize that you are a budding writer, but because you got the criticism at the correct time, you would want to continue to write. So yes, that was
Yes.
quite missing for a lot of us, but yeah, we are glad we got there, and so
Yeah.
glad that you are there and you're speaking to us about it today.
I was definitely blessed by a lot of amazing teachers, and my English teachers forever were like amazing. So yes, I would give the due credit to them. And I am daughter of a teacher who has been teaching for 2 decades now, English teacher. So maybe, yeah.
Definitely something's rubbed off.
Yes. And so yeah, so we have covered the hate part of it. Why we do not really are not too fond of writing, and that's how you inculcate the love for it. So that step is covered as well. And what? Oh, yes, there is one more thing as a writer that I would like to, point to is that, whenever, even as I would call myself somewhat of a seasoned writer with like 10 years of writing continuously. The one thing that scares me the most is the blank page. The moment you are supposed to write and you just see that Word document staring back at you, and you're like, what are you going to fill me up with today, kind of a thing. So, yes, whether it's pen or paper or whether it's a Word document, whenever you are writing and you feel that, that gaping hole that you don't know what to fill it up with, there are three things that you should do totally, and it always works. The first thing is the reason that you don't know where to start is maybe you have not done enough research. Because the moment you start reading a lot, the moment you start gathering a lot of information, you are bound to know where you need to start. If not anything else, if you're reading 5 topics, one topic, and there are 5 articles on that, you read those 5 articles, there's a high chance that you already know how to start the article that you are writing, if not anything else. So that's the first thing. Start with the research. Do enough research, you will know what to write. Second is, yeah, once you've done your research, create an outline, like for introduction. So you have an introduction and then you have a conclusion, and anything in between what goes in is something you just scribble down. And then while you're filling it in, just keep ticking it off. And it will take off a huge burden of you that, I need to write this entire thing, because you're taking it one bit at a time, and it is making writing a much less heavier task than you
Easier
think.
task.
Yeah. So that's the way. I'll just check. Yeah, that is the way. And
So yes, I think there is a love and hate relationship with writing, even with people who are seasoned at it, I think. as you said, the blank page. Sometimes you just don't know what is the right thing to fill it in with. Um, uh, I think quite a few of us have joined us, and anybody who would like to pose a question for Proma?
Any kind, any writing related stuff, would be happy to answer.
Madhurima has joined us, and so has Shweta. Welcome. As you know, we are talking about content writing. A lot of us have gotten started on it on our own. Um, as Proma was saying, some of us have had encouragement, some of us haven't. And today we are here to tell you how Proma has got into it and how she wants you to find joys in little things in life and start writing about it so that you can find your niche. And she can help you a bit more with that. So we are in conversation with Proma, and there's Sandra Auntie there as well. And Sayanthani has joined us. Hi, Sayanthani. There's a little bit of a lag, yeah. So, Proma, what are you working on right now? As in the lockdown definitely has given us a lot of time to pen down different things that we've been meaning to get to, I guess. Wise.
Content wise, okay, so there has been like work that is always there, and my work is content based, so I've been doing that. Of the ones where I have not signed NDAs is this lovely Mexican, client I have, who deal in Rebosos as scarves. Something this will interest you guys at Thea. So
Yeah.
they are into, handmade scarves and wallets. So yeah, that has been a really, happening journey for me, because guess what? I have been posting for them in Spanish. So yes, that
Oh,
has.
that was going to be my next question. That uh, since you're doing it in Spanish, you do have a little bit of a background there, having lived in Mexico for quite some time. So, how much of research goes into that? Like, writing for a client who might be coming from a different culture from you, a different background. What do you have to watch out for?
Okay, great question. Okay, so this one, for example, if I was writing about, my client over here who is from Mexico, and even though we are very similar cultures when it comes to, liking, food and festivals and celebrating family, there are quite a few, places which have been cultural shocks for me. And vice versa. So when you're doing something like creating content for clients who are from different countries, one of the biggest thing, the most important thing that you do first is, even before you research on the content they want written, is you research on their culture, what is acceptable and what is not. So many a times it is, just you get some Google research done, and that is not enough. So it is also this next step to that. Once you know what is okay and what is not, one crucial thing about that, UK English and American English. If you want to be a content writer, never write US English for your UK clients and vice versa. You want continuous assignments from them and they take it to heart. So never confuse the two of them. So once that is done, research is written in their own, domain. For example, if I'm writing content for my client, they are called Mesla. I will go to the competitor page and I will see what kind of, captions and content have been written by their competitors. And then I will pick up the tone. I will see what is working for them, where they're getting more like, more engagement, and I will come back and use their platform and their message and craft a message like that. So one thing is like, content is never really 100% genuine, whoever is writing it. because it is always something that has already happened and you are just writing it down. There's a difference between plagiarism and inspiration. So it's not necessary. Do not ever put yourself under that burden that I have to create something so new that nobody has ever heard about it or read it ever. Do not put yourself under that burden. But yes, it's always okay to take a bit of inspiration. It at least helps you put on the right path and then just go with the flow.
Yeah, I think one of the major things we learned in marketing, even like a little bit of content that was covered there, is um, content should, especially in case of international clients, you should always know what certain words mean, what it
Hmm.
might inspire in them, and how it might rub them the wrong way if you don't know the appeal of it. So I guess
Yes.
that also applies to content in here. And Shweta has a question for you. She asks, uh, what was your first content and what inspired you?
Okay. Thanks for the question, Shweta. I'm just trying to like go back, rewind, and remember which one was the first one. Um, are you talking about a paid assignment? If it was a paid assignment, I remember it very well because I had to write about NBA. I guess it is NBA. I had no clue. I'm not into sports at all. And I was asked to write 500, and it took me
Okay.
1.5 days. 1.5 days to write a 500-word essay about NBA sports stars. And the inspiration behind it was my first task. Somebody had given me that big break of letting me write about something, and they were even paying me for that. So it was like, okay, I have been entrusted with something, even if it makes me cry, I will write it. And it was difficult because I had to understand what NBA is, who are, what are the teams doing, and everything, the history and geography of it all. But yeah, it added something new. Needless to say, I don't remember all of it because please don't ask me the full
But
form right
yeah, I
now.
think with content, it does add to our knowledge banks as we write along, we learn new things. So as much as you didn't like it at that point, I guess, yeah, it did help you learn something totally new that you hadn't ventured into
Yeah,
before. But
yeah.
what got you into writing in the first place? Like, I know that was your first paid assignment, but I guess along the way, someday you realized this is what I want to do. So how did you come about that?
Okay, okay, yeah. So what happened was when I was working as a financial consultant, a tax consultant, and I was crunching numbers day in and day out, my brain was screaming that I really needed to express myself. So I started a blogspot blog, okay, and if you go to that page, you will realize that something was really wrong with me at that point of time because I was just writing whatever I wished, you know. And I will leave the link to it in this live. Do check it out. But that is the one that actually caught the eyeball of the person who hired me. So something must have gone right. So I started with exactly that. I started writing about things that just came to my mind and I expressed them in words. So words, many a time, they're very therapeutic. It's very, you know, you just write. Why do you even journal? The reason people journal is, you're writing and nothing else is coming back to you. You are sitting there and expressing your heart out, and nobody's talking back to you. So that is how I perceive it. But it is very therapeutic. And
It is.
for pe- for people who are not even going for content writing, I would totally ask you to just give it a shot and write to just, make yourself feel better. Even if it's like 20, 50 words or whatever you want at the end of the day, just to do that.
Guess the best way to let it go, I think, is to start writing whatever it is that you want to let go.
Yeah, very helpful.
So what would
Shweta,
you
I hope
like, as I was saying? Yeah, there's Shweta.
I just wanted to ask Shweta question somewhat. Um, it was something that was published. I used to so yes, I used to ghostwrite articles um, for my clients. So ghostwriting is basically, you write something, it is published under someone else's name, mostly a CEO's name or something, and then a newspaper byline or as a guest article. So since I signed NDAs, I really cannot tell you for whom all I wrote, but those were the ones that were published in like Financial Times, Economic Times, because I wrote mostly for financial, you know, financial clients into the field of finance. Yes, Mekhala.
No, no, I think that's what I was going to ask, like that the published part, but yeah, I think you've got it covered. So, as you said, you'll be leaving a little link to your blog so that people who are thinking of starting off know where they have to start off with. Um, any other questions? I think there are two more people who've joined, Sakshi and Lena. Hi, Sakshi. Hi, Lena. Thank you for joining us. So what
Hi.
I was going to ask you next, yeah, so what I was going to
Mhm.
ask you next is, as I was saying, a lot of people are thinking of starting off on their own, and content has changed over, I think, the period of time that has lapsed. Its appeal and how it should be like written. That entire I think there was a time when content writing would involve a lot of detailing, but right now, um, I think it's mostly smaller words, smaller attention span, hence you have to be very on spot.
Yes.
So, how do you go about it when it's like very specific? If your content has to be very specific, what do you do about it?
Uh, okay. So, yes, initially that was a very difficult space for me to fit myself in because I just go with the flow. And what helped me was the restriction of the number of words. So every time any kind of content writing work comes with its word limit. So they say 500 words or 1000 words. So I started using that as a limit. And I remember the outline I talked about. So I just divide all those numbers into the subheadings, that this subheading will have 150 words, the other one will have 200 words, something like that. And I try to squeeze in all the information in that, but in a very succinct manner. Like you rightly said, people do not want to read long pieces of content anymore. They have videos to look at. They have, uh, lives to look at. So why would they go and read so much of content? So
It's used to a
one thing is,
3 second window, I feel now.
it is the attention span of a goldfish, like we say, and how do you catch their attention? The one of the best things to do is, have, I wouldn't call it a clickbait, but I would say, have some piece of valuable information right at the beginning, and they see that, and that catches that 3 second of theirs. And if it is good enough, they will go ahead and read the rest of it. But the rest of it, which I always say, should not have jargons. It should not be Shakespearean language. It should not have, words that, SAT. It should be as easy to understand as possible. Even if it is for, you're writing it for a C suit, or you're writing it for, sixth grader. It doesn't matter. It should be that easy to understand. Short sentences that make sense, and something which is easy to process.
That actually is, I think, a lot helpful given, as you were saying, attention spans have shortened. As a closing, as because we are almost, time's almost up for today. As a closing, what would you like to leave us with?
Okay. But before that, Mekhala, I can see another question from
Oh,
Shweta.
yes, yes, yes.
Do you see yourself?
There it
Hmm. Oh, yes, Shweta. Thank you for asking that. I forgot to mention that. I'm actually writing one right now for the past very many days, and it is due for a long time. And it is a book on content writing. So I'm writing a book on content writing because, I frequently get asked a lot of questions on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and in person about, these things, tips on content writing, how they can get it right. And I thought of, collecting all this information and putting it in a book. So yes, that is the book I'm working on right now. And please keep putting this pressure on me so that I actually complete it and it gets published. And yeah, Mekhala. So the thing that I would like to leave and complete this live session with today is that, writing is so core to human beings. That is the way we have passed on tremendous amount of information since caveman times. Those people wrote on walls, and from there we gathered, and the Egyptians wrote. They were not there to come sit in front of us and talk. It was their writings that they left. Anytime you write something, you're leaving a mark forever. And right now it is going into big data and it will stay there forever. So, make your mark, leave it, and do a good job at it. Writing is a beautiful thing. It's therapeutic. If you do it right and you are passionate about it, it pays. And I can't think of a single thing that I don't like about it because I love it. So yeah,
So, in conclusion, if you love writing as much as Proma does, maybe you should give content writing a shot. And for advice, Proma is always there. Her page DigiWitch is up and running, and you can check out her content work there. And you can get an idea of what you can prepare for if you actually work on it.
definitely.
So thank you everybody for joining us, and I hope it was an informative session for you. It is pretty new to us, as you can see. We are both working on it, and let's hope in future things get better, and we also have better lives in store for you. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and thank you, Proma, for giving us time and helping people who really want to know a bit more about content writing.
Thank you so much for having me here. I always love to talk about writing. So any day. Take care and thank you so much.